Great to welcome on board Mark Ronson. Hello.
Hello. Hey.
Welcome back to Japan.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be here. I love, I used to come here so much, and now, for some reason, I haven't been here since my last album, which was nearly 5 years ago, so it's great to be here, get to play a gig, hang out.
Yeah. What do you love doing when you're here? What do you love about Japan?
Well, I kind of love everything. I've only really got to spend time in Tokyo, so I need to spend some time to go outside of the city, but, for me, because I'm a vinyl junkie, and all the record shops and going to the bars with the amazing old places like Martha or Track where they have these great sound systems and playing records and that culture and the food, the city, the people. It's great.
Well, welcome back. Congratulations on a wonderful album, Uptown Special.
Loving it. Thank you very much.
I'm wondering, inspired by your childhood in Uptown New York, West Side perhaps? Is there references there?
I think, even though I grew up sort of on the Upper West Side, to me Uptown always meant Harlem and the Bronx, more like the birthplace of hip-hop. So, I would take the Uptown train every day, so that word probably is embedded in my brain. But it was more inspired by... ironically, DJing in clubs downtown, which was where I learned everything that I knew about hip-hop and, R&B and all the classic black dance music from the late 70s. So it's a bit of a, I guess it's, out of all the records I've done, it's the one most influenced by my kind of early days and when I started out DJing.
Some nice people on there. Bruno Mars, you get Stevie Wonder to play the harmonica. That must have been a joyful moment.
Yeah, it's insane. I wrote this song, this melody, and it had lyrics to it. And every time I'd hear someone sing it, I would think, it's supposed to be Stevie Wonder's harmonica, man. I just kept hearing it. And I just thought, well, what the hell, I give it a shot. So I sent a letter and the demo to his manager, and Stevie liked it and played it. And it's obviously it's the pinnacle of... I might never get to work with anyone as special as that again. There's no one that's more special to me, that's influenced me more. So, yeah, it's insane that he played on the record.
I was actually wondering if you have a wish list. Is there someone you would love to produce for or work with?
I think it's the people that I've worked with are you come into orbit with. It happens by some random coincidence, or you meet at a show or a festival. So I always think that the next person I work with is going to be someone unexpected, or maybe someone I haven't even met yet. So, there's so many people that I love, of course, whether it's Kendrick Lamar, Stevie Wonder, these people that, of course, I'd love to work with them, but it doesn't necessarily, I think if it happens, it happens,
I read you've dedicated this album to Amy Winehouse. Is this an album you would have made with her, or do you think if you worked with her again, would it have been very, very different? What do you think you and Amy would be doing today if she was with us?
It would really depend on the songs her songs, because that always dictated what we did on Back to Black. She came and she had these songs, and I think the reason we worked really well together is because the arrangements and stuff that I came up to for her songs were probably how she was hearing them. When you're producing an album for somebody, you're always trying to imagine. Someone just comes and plays a song for you on the acoustic guitar, you're trying to think, how would they love to hear this song? That's what you're trying to achieve as a producer, to deliver that. So, this doesn't strike me as very, very Amy's type of music, this album, but, I would have obviously loved to have been able to make music with her again, and, she was such a great songwriter and a singer.
When you're working with such incredible talent and you're in the studio, it must be a wonderful experience. Is there sort of, for you being the producer, how collaborative is it? Or do you fight with people, or do they have a very distinct idea of what they want and they tell you? Or, and I presume it's different person to person, album to album, but how do you go into a production studio with an incredible artist?
It's different, if it's for my own album, there's definitely a sense of there's a bit more, I think that I just trust you a bit more because it's for your own record. When I'm producing a record for somebody else, you have to surrender your ego somewhat, and the job of a producer is really to make the songs of that artist the best that they can possibly be and to deliver that. And I think that, I'll fight for my idea if if I really believe in it and I believe that it's right and it's the best thing for the song. But as far as like, the ego and that sort of thing goes, like, and also like an artist like Bruno, I don't think anybody's ever kind of pushed me quite like that far or that hard like he does. It's great. He's always thinking like, how can we just make it like 2% better? It's like those extra hours you spend up in the studio. He wants his stuff to be that good. So it's great to work with artists like that, even if at the time you're just thinking like, can we just go home already? Like it's good.
Oh. It's obviously hard work.
I think so. I mean, it's. I want the music to be the best it can be, and it's like until and I'll keep pushing that until like the minute that we have to hand in the album. It's like I'm always fine tuning it and thinking, okay, this. So much of today's music is made as if it's a little bit disposable, and I think that if people were thinking more in their heads like, hey, whatever you make here today in the studio or this month is going to be around in 20, 30 years, like how much more time and care and attention would people spend on it? I don't know.
That actually leads me to the question. I'm really fascinated with the fact you got novelist Michael Chabon to write lyrics, words for this album. It's just such a great idea because you can come up with the production goods, a writer, a novelist can come up with words. But obviously, and I read interviews with him saying it was a real challenge for him too. He can write a novel, but he's never written a song before, so that was a very interesting challenge. Great idea, though. I'm really fascinated in putting those sorts of people together.
Yeah, you know what happened? Michael's one of my favorite authors. He's obviously brilliant. He's won the Pulitzer Prize and all this stuff. And I started to write some of the music for this album, and some of the chords and the melodies were just like a bit more like weird and kind of noir, and I just thought it'd be so cool to get somebody who could write some really interesting stories, like so the lyrics weren't about the same thing. And Michael was, luckily he was really into the idea. And then I think it's, on my first album I was producing everything, playing all the instruments. You're like a kid, you're all like full of all this kind of ideas and hubris, and you're like, I want to do everything myself. And then I think maturing is a little bit about knowing like when there's somebody better than you with a certain talent, and to bring them in and to be able to like let go of the ego of it, just to like really make the music the best it can be. And Kanye does that. There's so many great artists that like Quincy, they bring around the best, most talented people at what they do to lend that, but at the end it has to be your vision.
That's actually what I always think about it. A producer's role is, and I presume that's what you're doing. You're pulling together these incredible people, and then you're just the glue in the middle that's sticking it all together, I think.
I think so. I mean, I don't want to like big myself up, but I'm also playing all the instruments, a lot of the instruments on it, and writing the stuff. So you are the glue, but you're also a little bit. If it was a film, you're a little bit the director, you're a little bit the producer. Maybe you have a small acting role. If you're playing some instruments, you're a little bit the casting agent because you're figuring out who it is. So yeah, I get if producer is such a vague title, it's different, for everybody what they do.
Do you have a favorite role in all the things you do?
No, because I really, I love getting to play on the stuff. I mean, I love writing it. I mean, I guess the one thing that would be maybe indispensable, maybe somebody else could fill in all those other roles except for the writing part, because I could get somebody else to play the guitar and do that stuff. It's not like I'm Jack White where my guitar is so signature and amazing. But I think writing it is great. I also love recording like with these incredible musicians and singers, and I feel very lucky in all those things.
The hard work pays off. Grammys, Brit Awards, GQ magazine, Stylish Man of the Year. What to you is most rewarding, do you think?
I think the most rewarding is like going out and DJing or playing a song like Uptown Funk live and watching like how excited it gets people. Or even just if I'm in a club and just watch when it comes on and the chorus hits and the horn line comes in, and just people just kind of lose it. And that's just the coolest thing. And to know that there's this song that we made, like, Bruno playing drums, I'm playing guitar, Jeff's playing keys. It's not like we went out and got the best session guys. It's like, it's just us, and that's what's on the radio, and that's what people like, and the way people have reacted to the song is just incredible to me.
Where does the music come from? Where do the ideas come from? Do you get inspired by the music you listen to? Your childhood? Do you sit in the bath or in the shower and go, oh, that's a good one?
It's kind of a little bit of all of them. It's like different songs. You know, a lot of the music and the melodies on this album, some of them were inspired by Michael would send me lyrics, and I'd read them, and I was reading his lyrics he'd send me over the internet, and I could almost, they were just turning into melody as I was reading it. And then, you know, Uptown Funk just started as a jam, like at Bruno's studio, so that's kind of another example of a song. And then, yeah, sometimes you just kind of, you hear like, you know, somebody starts playing groove, you hear a drum beat, and then it just takes you to a place. So it's a little bit of everything.
Music is such a powerful force in our lives, and I love to ask people who create music this. Can you imagine a life without music?
No, I don't think, and I think that if music really left, like, it would almost be like a giant cloud came over all of civilization. I think, like, we don't realize, like, you don't have to make music to realize how important it is and how much it lifts people up. Like, what would people do in their cars all day while they were driving? Just listen to plays or something? I think, like, you know, music it's the most visceral and tangible of, like, all art forms. You know, they're not to take anything away from any visual art and anything like that, but music is the thing that can really just, like, I don't know, it just has the power to move, like, an entire people.
Keep it coming.
Thank you.
Mark Ronson, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Arigato.